everybody, welcome to Wendy Branch's Farm. If you're new around here, I'm Rebecca. We have a lot of new subscribers that I want to say thank you and hi to. Today we are going to make a quick and easy granola recipe. Mark and I are trying to eat a little more healthy, and so we both love Greek yogurt. And so what I want to do is make a real quick and easy recipe of granola to have on hand to eat for our breakfast with our yogurt. So the things that we're going to need first is going to be our recipe. I made up this recipe and I hope that it goes okay. I made this for the boys when they were going camping a long time ago, and I tweaked it just a little bit. But I need my recipe, and you guys check this out. My son got me this for Christmas. It is a beautiful recipe box. I have never had a recipe box. He got me this for Christmas, and I just love it. And I've been busy putting new recipes in. And so what it does is it comes with this piece of plexiglass, and you get out your recipe card, which we're going to use the granola. You close your box back, put the recipe behind the piece of plexiglass, and then there's a little slit right here that you just sit it in, and voila, there's your recipe. I just love this recipe box. It is awesome. So we have our recipe for our granola, and I'll tell you what we're going to need. We are going to need a small bowl to whisk together our wet ingredients. You do that first, so we'll need a whisk. And then a large bowl to put everything in, get it combined to pour in the pan. So we need that, and a large spoon. We need parchment paper for sure. You really want to use parchment paper on this recipe because I've made it once without parchment paper, and scrubbing the pan afterwards to get the honey and the brown sugar off after it cooks is awful. So it's like you got to soak it for a little while and then scrub it and then soak it and then scrub it. It's terrible. So use parchment paper. And then we need a sheet pan. I got out 2 sheet pans. I'm doubling the recipe. So I'm going to store it in mason jars, so I don't want to have to make another batch anytime soon. So I wanted to double the recipe and store it in our mason jars. So we'll need these 2 sheet pans. Now for the ingredients. We need brown sugar. This is brown sugar that we made here in our kitchen. I have a video on that if you'd like to go back and watch that. When my daughter was up from Florida for Thanksgiving, I had ran out of this, and we were trying to make some pie, I don't know. And she whipped this up for me. I taught her how to do that, so that was nice. So we need brown sugar, salt, vanilla, honey. This is honey from our farm, from Mark's Bees that we harvested right here on our farm. We need oats. A lot of recipes online say that you can't use quick oats for this recipe. I use what I have on hand, and what I have on hand is quick oats, and that's what I'm going to use. I've used that before and it was fine. And instead of using vegetable oil, some call for vegetable oil, some calls for butter, I'm going to use coconut oil. I have an abundance of this coconut oil, and I want to go through it and get that out of my pantry, so I'm going to use coconut oil. And then you'll need some kind of nuts, if you're not allergic to nuts, that is. But some type of nuts. I'm using this mixture of nuts. We met one of our kids to pick up a Christmas gift last weekend, and it was at Buc-ee's up on I-75 going toward Tennessee. And we picked up this variety nut pack. And so it's a roasted nut sampler pack. It looks like that they've got brown sugar or some kind of coating on it, but it's almonds, pecans, walnuts, and cashews, and they're all coated in some, I don't know, some brown sugar or something. They're coated in something. But we're going to use these nuts because they're here, and we've had them since Saturday, and no one seems to be eating them, so I'm going to put it in our granola. So let's get started on this recipe. It's super easy, and I think that you can tweak it with anything that you want. If you don't like brown sugar, you certainly don't have to use that. You can use regular sugar, I guess. And then the oil, you can use whatever kind of oil you want. But it's real easy, and I hope you'll follow along. The first thing we need to do is preheat the oven to 350. My coconut oil is in solid form, so I have that in the microwave melting. So, whoop, there it is. Okay. Okay, so we'll get our small bowl, and we're going to mix all of these ingredients together. The sugar, the honey, vanilla, salt, and the oil. We're going to mix all of that together in this bowl. So we're going to need 1 cup of brown sugar. When I make brown sugar, I make a big batch in this huge jar, and I pack it in. So when I make it, I can make a big batch and always have plenty of it on hand. So when I feel like making something, I don't have to worry about running out of brown sugar. So I like to make a big batch. And like I said, I do have a video on that, if you would like to go back and see that video. Okay, so we need 1 cup of brown sugar. We need 1 cup of honey. A little bit more. We are so thankful for this honey. We use this in recipes all the time, and anything that says to add sugar, like when I make homemade bread or anything like that, I always use honey instead of the sugar, and it turns out really, really good. So we need 1 cup of honey. And remember, this is making a double batch, so I'll write up the recipe and put it down in the description box. And it will be for a double recipe. So I'll put in the description box just the regular recipe that I would typically use. And then you guys can adjust from there. You literally, there's nothing fancy about it. You just double whatever ingredients it is. You just double it. So we're going to need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. 1, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Our coconut oil. We need a 1/2 cup of coconut oil. I have quite a bit of coconut oil up in my cupboard, and I want to go ahead and use that up. I'm trying to go through things now before, you know, we start planting the garden and stuff starts coming in and I have to start preserving and all of that. I'm trying to use up as much of the items that we have in the house as I can. And this thing of coconut oil is a big jug, and it's taking up a lot of space, and I want to go ahead and get that used. So now we need 1 teaspoon of salt. That seems like a lot of salt, but this is going to make a lot of granola. So, anyway. Okay. So what we want to do is whisk this all together. Want to get that really combined, get everything mixed really good together. Get this all mixed up good. It's really thick. It's also really cold in our house too, so that could be one thing that's working against me, is it's always cold in here. Okay, guys. So we're going to set this aside, and we're going to set that aside. We're going to put in our oats. We need 6 cups of oats. This container is 18 ounces, and I'm pretty sure that it is, if it measures right, it should be 6 cups. There's 4. So that's 5.5 cups. Actually, it's probably 6 cups because I think my 4 was a little heavy-handed. So this 12-ounce or 18-ounce container, I used a whole one for this double recipe. Now, I'll set that to the side, and what we want to do is chop up all of these nuts. I need a 1.5 cups of nuts. So, we'll chop up all of those, and whatever it makes, that's how much nuts we're going to use. I'm telling you, this is so easy to do. This recipe is so easy. Now, if you are going to add any kind of fruit, or like cranberries or raisins or chocolate chips or anything like that, you'll want to do that after this comes out of the oven. Don't cook it with that stuff in it. It'll just melt to make a big old mess. So we like ours a little chunky. So I'm going to do this pretty chunky like that. Well, I just spilled some. I don't want it to be too chunky, but I like a good chunky granola. Okay, so we needed a 1.5 cups. Let's see how much we wound up with. Wow, we have 2 cups, but that is perfect. That is a-okay. So we'll put those in our pan or bowl, and now we're going to take our mixture of all the wet ingredients and just put it all over this. It almost looks like caramel, doesn't it? So basically, you just fold it in. Just fold it in. We want to make sure that all of those oats and all of those nuts are covered. I have mixed this up by hand before, and that is a little bit easier. The only thing is I don't like getting all of that. I used gloves when I mix it up by hand, but I don't like getting all of that on my gloves because I don't want to waste a drop of this. So it does help if your house isn't 60 degrees. Our house is always cold. I've said that in plenty of videos. We keep it cold in here. I don't know. We've not even used the heat that much. When we had that really big cold snap where it was 4 degrees outside here a couple weeks ago or last week or whenever it was, we did use the heat then quite a bit because it was seriously cold then. But okay, here's what we got. It's good and chunky and sticking together like that. I'm going to put parchment paper over our pan and get ready to get this in the oven. Here we go. We have our parchment paper on our sheet pan and a cup to dip it out with. We want to leave this in clusters because you want it to be, you know, a chunky, crispy granola. That's what we like anyway. And on a side note, if you wanted to, you could add cinnamon to this or nutmeg or allspice, whatever spice that you would like to add to it, you could add to it. This particular one, I am making plain. I love the flavor of our honey, and I want that honey flavor to shine through more than anything else. So I'm not putting any type of spice in it. No cinnamon. I'm not putting any of that in it, but you certainly can if you want to. Okay, here we go. So you just take this, put it on here, and see how it is. It's pretty much going on the pan in chunks like that. That's exactly the consistency that you're looking for. Because when you bake this, you have to go in the oven about every, I don't know, maybe every 10 minutes or so. This is going to cook for 35 minutes. And so about 3 times during that 35 minutes, you're going to want to go in the oven and turn this over. You're going to want to stir it some. So if it's in these chunk pieces, like it's just coming out of the bowl in the chunks. And that's what you want. That's exactly what you want. That's the right consistency for this granola. At least for my granola anyway. I don't know about other recipes because the guys were going camping. Mark and our boys were going camping. And I made them a big thing of granola to take with them camping. And so I just made it up. I literally used what I had in my kitchen and made granola. So there we go. See, it's in pieces. So that's great. That's exactly what we're looking for. Okay, my oven is preheated. I'm going to put this in for 35 minutes. And every 10 minutes, I'm going to stir it. And then when it comes out of the oven, I will show you what it looks like and how we are going to put this up to use. Okay, so I've stirred these one time, and it's time to stir it again. So I'm going to quick open the oven, give it a good stir, and get it right back in the oven to cook for its last few minutes. It is already turning brown. Okay, we'll be back as soon as this is done. Our granola is out of the oven. I'll show you what it looks like. You don't have to cook yours until it gets that brown. You can cook it, 2 or 3 minutes less or whatever if you don't like it that brown. But I love the toastiness of that flavor when it is brown like that. So when it first comes out, I'll show you, it's still in good size chunks. So when it first comes out, it's going to be a little bit soft. So even though it's in chunks, it's still going to be a little bit soft. So what I like to do is just let it cool, pour it into a big bowl, break it all up, and then store it in jars or gallon bags or whatever. I'm actually going to weigh this so I can tell you exactly how much it made as soon as it cools down just a little bit. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna weigh it, and then I'm gonna put some in a mason jar for us to have out on the counter for breakfast for the next few days. And then I'm going to freeze a gallon bag. All right, we're back. So I want to weigh this for you so I can tell you exactly how much a double recipe makes. I have my scale and a nice big bowl to dump it into. So we're going to turn on the scale. You just press on. And then once this zeros, okay, I'm going to sit this bowl on my scale and then zero out that scale. That way we know exactly what we are working with. Okay. Whoops. I can make a mess, I'm here to tell you. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this weighs 2.98 pounds. 2 pounds, 9.8 ounces. So about, it probably would weigh 3 pounds if I hadn't dropped a couple of pieces on the floor. Oops. Okay, let's taste it and see what we've got. This is so good. I wish you could smell it. And also, instead of the honey, if you don't have honey on hand, if you have molasses, I usually keep molasses because I like to make my own brown sugar. And that's all brown sugar is sugar and molasses mixed together. If you don't have brown sugar or honey, you can use molasses if you have it. But let's taste it and see if it's good. Oh my God. It's crunchy and sweet and has a tad of salt. Wow. Make this, you guys. It is so delicious. Wow, that's really good. Mark's going to love this. I can't wait for him to try it. Okay, so I have a large mason jar. This one I'm going to just put on the counter. You can hear how crunchy it is. This one I'll keep on the counter. And that way, during the week, Mark and I can just grab this, take a little scoop, and put it on top of our yogurt. It'll be good. We like Greek yogurt. There we go. So I'll store this on our countertop. And the rest of it is just going to go in a gallon bag. So I'll put it in a gallon bag and throw that into the freezer. And when we get low on this, then I will just pull this out. And what you can do is, if you do wind up freezing some, when you pull it out of the freezer, go ahead and put down a piece of parchment paper on a cookie sheet and throw it on that cookie sheet, your granola, throw it on your cookie sheet, and then have your oven preheated to 400, and you can literally crisp this up really fast. Just put it in your oven on 400 and do that for maybe about 5 minutes. It won't take long if you have your oven preheated before you stick it in. It will crisp right back up for you. So, but you can see this still has the nice big chunks in there. I don't know if you can see it. It has the nice big chunks in there. So yeah, I really hope that you will try this granola and make it your own. Tweak it any way you want to tweak it. This is just a basic granola that I like to make around here. And you put in your spices or whatever you want, cinnamon, whatever. Change the honey up and use molasses. Change the oil up and use, use a different kind of oil. Use avocado oil or whatever oil you have on hand. I chose to use coconut oil because, like I said, I'm trying to go through the groceries that we have in the house right now because I know that we're going to be planting the garden soon. And when that stuff starts coming in, I need to have all of my pantry and shelves and jars and everything available to me when I start preserving our food. And over the winter months now, it's the perfect time to use what you have in your kitchen and start getting rid of that stuff. And you'll see that a lot this week. I'm going to go through the freezer, especially the freezer inside our house, and start pulling out things that are in there that we need to cook. And I'm going to figure out a recipe for it and get that stuff cooked because I'm going to need the space because spring is on the way and we need to get ready for it. So thank you for joining me to make this granola. And like I said, all you new subscribers, we are so thankful for you for sticking around, for watching our videos. And we hope that if you make this granola, you will come back to the comments and tell us how yours turned out and how you liked it or how you tweaked it or whatever. And we'll see you on the next video.
Thank you for taking the time to watch our videos. If you liked this video and found it helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel and click the notification bell so you'll be notified when a new video has been uploaded.